Hey, Sooner fans, welcome back. Another Champion Standard. Glad to have you back. Please like, subscribe, and comment on all of our social media. You can see down here at the bottom. We'd love to hear from you. Good news. Sooners ended their losing streak this weekend.
We won the bye week. Is
We
that the?
we won the bye week. Hey, listen, it was no turnovers by the offense. Defense pitched a shutout, and no one got hurt. So just a dominant game yesterday.
That's the most important part. No one got hurt
No
that we
one
know
got
of
hurt
as of today.
that we
That
know
we know of.
of. Yeah. So yeah, good week when you don't lose, right? So
Yep.
hey, before we jump into some of the national news, since of course OU was off this week, just wanted to send our thoughts and prayers out to both the Venables family and Julie, still battling with cancer and having to have a second surgery to remove another tumor. So thoughts go out to them. And then of course the Eichard family had a loss in the family, unborn child. So just want to send our prayers and thoughts out to the families out there that are dealing with, losses and, cancer battles, or just tough.
Right.
So, yeah. So it's always, we can always just breathe easy when OU's off and just sit back and watch things play out.
Yeah.
Last time I think that happened, man, there was a bunch of good games on. I can't remember what week that was, but man, there was all kinds of stuff going on. I think 5 top 10 teams lost or something like that week.
Yep.
So yeah, so I guess the marquee matchup yesterday was Georgia Tennessee, and Georgia taking care of business, kind of pulling away there at the end.
You're right.
Oregon survives on the road. Wisconsin's always a tough place to play, no matter how good they are. That's just a tough place to go in and pull out a victory. So you always got to squeak a few out. You can't go undefeated and expect to win by 3 touchdowns every week. So
Yeah, Dan Lanning and that defense got it done though.
they did.
Late in the game, they needed to stop. They got the stop. So
yeah, and I think Gabriel threw a pick in the red zone, like inside the 10-yard line early in that game too. Just kind of keep letting Wisconsin hang around. BYU suffers their first loss at home against Kansas. Had a chance. Yeah, had a chance to take the lead late in the game. I think they come up like a yard or two short on a 4th down play, which guy just didn't run past the sticks. So that's always a tough way to lose.
Yep. We've seen that before.
Yeah, we have a couple of times, I'm sure. Florida upsets LSU. Didn't.
Now that one I watched. That one was fun. I mean, I was sitting there I have never been so like locked on, engaged on a non-conference, like non-OU game, and just a conference game between like a 4-5 team and a 6-3 team. I just reminded me of how much I love the SEC. I love being a part of it because like the football is different. Like you never catch me watching a 4-5 and a 6-3 Big 12 team. I wouldn't care. But that Florida LSU game was a really fun game to watch, and Florida inked it out. Florida got hammered with the time of possession, like absolutely hammered. I just did not believe that they were going to have the legs in the 4th quarter to get that win. I thought LSU just gifted it. Like they just couldn't do anything right on the road. So
I didn't watch any of that game. So it sounds like to me that LSU dominated some stats, but did they turn the ball over a lot?
I don't remember if they turned the ball out too much. LSU had like 40 minutes of time to possession, like
Wow.
40 minutes to like 15. Florida's offense, I mean, Florida's defense, again, like SEC defense.
Yeah.
You gotta play good defense, and they at home they played well, and they got it when it mattered. And They got the W. So it's always a good day. You see Brian Kelly lose. I just don't like that guy. He just
He rubs me the wrong way too.
smug, man. Like God, I lo- he was caught on the sideline yelling at one of his players, saying that to his player that he was uncoachable and I don't effing like you or something like that. I mean,
Right.
really ripped into the guy. And I'm like, I cannot imagine Brent or any OU coach doing that, or Bob or anybody ever
Yeah.
doing that to a player. Yelling at him, sure, but like not like ripping his soul apart in front of all his friends. Like, that's just his teammates. That's just
Yeah.
I,
It, it,
I don't like that.
it's funny you mentioned Brian Kelly. It I hate Texas, so don't take this wrong. That was weird the way I started that, right? But like compared to the other coaches, like I like Sark better than Drinkwitz, Hugh Freeze, Kelly. I mean, Sark actually
No, I don't like
does,
Sark either.
but he doesn't bug me like he doesn't bug me as much as some of those other guys,
Yeah,
is what I'm saying.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
the bar was lowered when we came into the SEC.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, there's some real characters that coach,
Golly,
man. Real
yeah.
characters. One coach that is slowly growing on me though. Like I've never really kind of liked him because he coached at USC and everything, but Lane Kiffin is
Oh,
like
yeah.
he's growing on me. Just some of the stuff some of these stuff he does on the sideline is pretty funny. Like there was a play, I think it was last week, where Jackson Dart overthrew a play and, and Lane caught it and then threw it down the sideline because he was
Nice.
frustrated with his quarterback
Yeah.
being so inaccurate. He caught it and just like chucked it across the yard. He was like, I don't know, I just thought it was funny.
What
But
I
yeah,
like, what
he's been growing on me.
well, he's a Twitter master too, man. He'll call out
Yes.
other coaches, and that's what I like about him
Yes.
because it's not directed at us
Right.
currently, but
Currently.
he'll just call out whoever.
Yeah.
I don't remember who it was last year, but
Oh, he was going after Saban, he was
yeah,
going after
yeah,
Kirby Smart, like,
all of them.
yeah, I mean, he did not
He doesn't care.
he's like a honey badger, he don't care. He don't
Yeah.
care,
Oh,
he's just gonna
Lincoln.
what about Lincoln?
He would call out Lincoln Riley too.
Oh, yes, yes, he did, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah. So I'm with you. He's kind of growing on team. Hey, you think he'd mind being our OC?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
he's set
okay.
up over there.
He's doing all right.
But
Okay.
he's got Charlie Weiss Jr. over there. I don't know,
Ah,
maybe he'll loan him
forgot
to
about
us.
that. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's kind of a young guy too, but I don't know if he fits, um, but yeah.
Yeah. A few other games I was going to mention yesterday. SMU just keeps winning. They beat Boston College yesterday. They may win the ACC.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
I know.
That's pretty
When they
wild.
joined that conference, I was kind of like, oh, good for them. They can go over
How long
there
has
and
Rhett Lashlee been over there? How long has he been coaching over there?
three
It can't be that
years, maybe.
3 years?
I feel like 3 years.
And he's an air raid guy, isn't he?
I think so. Yeah. You're looking that up now, aren't you?
Yeah,
Um,
I'm just curious.
Arizona State keeps winning. They're 8-2.
2022. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
2022. Yeah.
third year. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Arizona State wins again. I think they beat Kansas State yesterday. They just keep rolling. They're 8-2, and them and Colorado have a matchup this week, and whoever wins that will clinch a berth into the Big 12 championship.
Okay.
Did you have
I'll see if we can
Arizona
catch that
State and
one.
Colorado on your bingo card for the Big 12 title this year?
No.
Yeah.
No.
And then South Carolina beat Missouri there in Columbia, South Carolina. That was a good game.
Yeah, that was a good one. I'm not yeah, that was a good one.
It
South
was it,
Carolina, you and I were talking about I was like, "Man, Beamer's actually put himself, a good season." I mean,
yes.
he he's had some close losses and he's got some W's on the road. I mean, he took Alabama to the wire, even all the way down to the last possession. I mean, like he's put together a good season over there. He good recruiting classes.
Yeah.
Look at those DNs. We saw them. We saw them firsthand at
Mm-hmm.
in Norman. Yeah, and that game with Missouri, you had Brady Cook back. He looked a little off. I mean, he looked off, but um, good win for them. I was rooting for South Carolina. I'll root for Beamer. That's another coach I've grown to like
Yeah,
now in this SEC. He's probably my favorite out of all the non douchebags out there. So
yeah,
he's
agreed.
he's he's a good one.
He is a good guy. It was nice to see Missouri lose a game in the closing minutes too.
Right.
After us doing that
Yep.
last week, I was glad to see them get a little taste of that medicine.
It's that if it wasn't for that bird and slot fade, we saw that through the summer when we were doing our wide receiver breakdowns and we were looking at all that film on SEC wide receivers and Burden just lived in that slot and there was only like 3 routes he did and was slot fade was one of them. Him and Cook would hook up on it all the time and get that late play. And I thought they had it. I thought they had the game in hand. And then South Carolina comes back with a ridiculous 2 play sequence to get them back in it and win the game. And Rocket Sanders, what a hell of a name for a running back.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Just take, 3 or 4 guys, just breaking arm tackles, gets the touchdown, gets the W. That was a fun game. That was a fun
Yeah,
one.
it was. It was. I think that's most of the top 25 matchups yesterday, unless you think of another one, but not really any huge upsets other than I guess Georgia over Tennessee was an upset by rankings, but
Sure.
um, and then LSU, I don't remember what they were ranked, but yeah. So just one final note on South Carolina. You know, if they win their last 2 games, they're not going to get in the playoffs, but they're going to be like final 3 out. They're going to work their way into like
Wow.
16th. Yeah. Uh, so
Wow. So
I'm
who do
not.
they have though? They've got
I don't
Wolford
know.
and Clemson. Wow.
Yeah.
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 So that's a real good job, Beamer.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they can get those 2 wins, they're gonna get Wolford. But if they
Right.
get that win on November 30th against their rival Clemson,
Yep. Yep.
that's that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So just a team to keep an eye on, like just an outsider that could sneak in, back their way in the playoffs. If teams just start losing left and right, is South Carolina. That'll give us somebody to root for if they make it
Yeah.
in, sneak in.
So what are we looking at? So standings for the SEC right now. I mean, we've got and SEC is gonna send what, like 5 teams
four
to the playoff?
to four to
4?
five. Yep.
4 to 5?
I would say four is almost a sure deal.
So Texas and A&M are at the top, and they play each other, and then
And
you've got
Georgia,
Georgia, Tennessee, and
Alabama.
Alabama with
Yeah.
Ole Miss sitting there with a
Yeah.
tougher schedule than Texas. Might miss out depending on how everything rolls out. That I just don't think Texas deserves to go. I don't
I know.
I don't think they deserve to go, man. You,
It,
I don't know if they could. I mean, I
it's
don't
it's
know,
it's
man.
a record. And here's the deal:
I
if A and
I
M
don't know.
beats if A and M beats Texas that final Saturday in November, will they free fall out all of a sudden?
I don't think so.
I don't
I don't
either.
think they would do
So
it. I think
they're
they're
gonna
in no
they're gonna
matter
get
what
in with 2
happens.
losses. They'll get in with 2 losses, and then Georgia and Bama will
I
probably get in.
e But who is to blame for this? The SEC, because they didn't make divisions and they didn't, like, have an actual structured schedule,
Hmm.
and having this, like, weird 16-game round robin thing where they were just gonna keep flipping flopping. You and I looked at the summer, we're like, "Man, there's a lot of good teams, and there's gonna be a lot of pissed off teams because of the way the schedule was out, it was too many paths for chaos." We said that. Too
Yeah.
many paths for chaos. And here we are, 2 games left in the season, and you got, the disparity in the schedule makes no sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Texas is gonna get in without beating, an SE without beating a ranked opponent. That's
Oh,
strange.
that is
To
weird.
go into a playoff to be a top 12 team in the country, or I take that back, top 11 because you're gonna have Boise State or whoever get in. But a top 11 team and you didn't play a ranked opponent and you're in a conference full of ranked opponents?
Yeah, they will get 2 two ranked opponents, the end of the season and SEC championship. So they'll get it to a couple of teams at the end
If
of the
they
year.
win, if they win out against A&M. If they lose
Right.
A&M, they wouldn't go to the
They won't
championship
even
game,
go. Yep.
but they could still go to the
Yeah.
playoffs.
I know.
That's wild.
It is.
That's wild. That's wild. Like
That's
that
wild.
that
Like,
that's people are gonna be pissed off in the
yeah.
offseason. You know the coaches and admin are gonna be like, "Yeah, that we need to fix this schedule thing, you know? We gotta fix it. We gotta actually have a formula to stick to
Yeah.
instead of just saying historically based thing."
So that's one extreme that we're talking, of a Texas team getting in the playoffs that really doesn't play anybody, right? The other extreme is this. Arizona State is currently not ranked. They're 8-2. They'll
They're
be
not ranked?
they will probably jump into the top 25 this week.
Okay, okay.
So they're currently not ranked. So hear me out. So they win these next 3 weeks against Colorado, whoever, and then Big 12 championship. They will get a first round bye in the playoffs. And they're not even ranked like right now. So the
Wow.
playoffs are they need to tweak that a little bit too, because that's wrong. You're telling me they're going to be the fourth seed in the playoffs, get a bye, and you're going to have maybe a Georgia, Alabama, just start naming off the teams that are behind them.
That makes no sense.
That doesn't feel right either. So,
It should be 1 through 12, end of story. Power 5, if there's a non-power 4 team that's good enough, they should be in the top 12, and it
right.
should be 1 through 12, 1 through 4 seed,
Mm-hmm.
end of story.
Yeah.
But the conferences won't like that because they wanna make dollars on their championship game,
Yeah.
but that's how it should be because, like you said, you're gonna have teams that are not gonna get a bye that are way better,
Right.
more talent,
Yep.
deserving with their schedule
Yeah.
than a
So, yeah. You
bad
may.
Big 12, man. God,
Yeah.
Big 12 is such a nuisance.
Yeah. I know we want to get to some offense coordinator talk for OU here in a second, but yeah,
Yeah,
just one more thing on playoffs. Think of this as your top four: Oregon, uh, SEC champ. Who's that going to be? Just say that's number three.
sure.
Number two, maybe SMU. Number four, maybe Arizona State.
Ugh. Golly.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I don't know. I'm just throwing
That's why I was saying
SMU and Arizona State can get first round buys in the playoffs, right?
man.
So it's going to be crazy when those first playoff seedings come out, because everybody will be like, "Really? Those are your top four, huh?"
Well, who's gonna be the loser is that first team out in the SEC, which it could look like it's gonna be Ole Miss. Ole Miss is gonna be furious
Yeah,
because they had a crazy schedule
yeah,
and they've got, good wins. They're 8-2 on the year right
yeah,
now,
yeah.
and they're gonna miss out on the playoffs, and they are going to be and there's gonna be other fan bases that are gonna be, you
Tennessee
know,
will miss out potentially.
Tennessee
Yep.
too.
Hmm.
Tennessee could get dropped too. I mean, there's gonna be some teams that are Ole Miss has got Florida and Mississippi State. They can win out and
Sure.
be 10-2 and miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
That I mean, as
Yeah.
this is what I'm saying, like, what I
I
was
know.
saying this summer, what'll end up happening, SEC is just gonna say, "Hey, we're just gonna have our own playoff and name our own champion, and because we've got deeper teams that are better than all y'all's, there's no point,
Hmm.
we're gonna make our own TV money, and we'll make our own national champion."
Yeah. It'll be like, "Oh, great, we got four in the playoff, but guess what? We eliminated four other teams along the way."
Yeah. Yep.
It's that's how it's going to look every year. Two to
I
four, two to four good SEC teams will not make it.
And actually, I take that back. What I was saying, the SEC and Big Ten will partner.
Right.
They'll expand and then they'll partner because they got a committee of teams and of admins and 80, all of them already. They've got a
Hmm.
committee together. It would just be a flip of a switch, and then we
Yeah.
can have our NFL pro style conference structure with conference structure schedule, and we won't have to worry about this.
Yep. So we'll have a playoff preview in about
Yeah.
3 or 4 weeks. I guess it would be after December 7th games or whenever those championship games are scheduled. So
Yeah.
we'll have a championship recap and a playoff look forward, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, before we get into offense coordinator search, I forgot to mention our sponsors, Woodworks Distillery. See, you got a bottle there. It's all full. You got a
Yeah, this
full
one's full.
bottle. That's because OU didn't play yesterday.
Oh, you didn't.
That's why it's full. There's a
That's so true.
there's a
It's
coincidence.
so true.
It is.
It's so true.
That's great. Oh my gosh. So we may actually go see the guys up at Woodworks here before long and do a live show up there potentially. So stay tuned for
Yeah.
that, and
If
we'll
it wasn't
announce
for
it.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll announce it, and if there's anybody that wants to come out and join us, that'd be great too. So
Yeah.
we'll mention that before we do it. So yeah. So next on our agenda, I know we've been itching to talk about it all week. Offensive coordinator search is in full swing. There's,
Are we sure it's offensive coordinator search?
well, let's say offensive
I'm playing.
coordinator
Let's go. I don't want
slash
to go that way.
head coach, but I think at this point, don't you think it's like, I don't know, 90% that Brent's still here? I don't know. Is that fair?
Yeah.
85,
Yeah.
90% Brent's
Today,
still here at the end of the year. Yeah.
yeah, November 17th. Yeah, I would say definitely 90%.
Yeah. So yeah, offense coordinator search. There's been a lot of names thrown out there. I can stick them up here on our screen if you'd like.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I saw this list and I did not like it because I don't know. This is like I feel like some of these names wouldn't join us, and then I feel like some of these names are like just a little bit of a stretch. I mean, you're talking about entering a very very tough league, and there's a lot of names on here that are non-SEC coordinators.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't even know. Let's see. There's 11 listed on there, and I left one of your guys, Kitley. Is that right?
Zach
Kitley?
Kitley, Texas
Yeah,
Tech, and then another one I'd throw on there just to throw on there is Charlie Weiss Jr. Even though we
that's right.
haven't heard any of him at all, but again, because he's inexperienced, like he hasn't gotten there. So our list, go run through the list there, Brad,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
our listeners.
So there, no particular order. I kind of put a couple of names up top because they seem to be gaining a little traction. Just, you know, with who you listen to, it seems to be, Dan Mullen's name has been brought up multiple times. The former Florida Mississippi State head coach, right? That was his two
Mm-hmm.
stops.
Yep. He's an Urban Meyer protege, goes all the way back to Utah. He was a quarterbacks coach for Alex Smith. He was with at Florida with Tim Tebow and
Trask.
Urban Meyer. I mean, Trask, that was his quarterback, Trask. He's got a history of developing quarterbacks.
Dak
Prescott of Mississippi State.
So there's some names on there for sure.
Yeah. But he's been in TV for 3 years.
Exactly.
Collecting an easy check. So
yeah.
And his contract is expiring, which is why he's looking for a job. So, I mean, it's kind of like, anyway, move on to the next one.
Yeah. Ben Arbuckle, the current Washington State offensive coordinator, comes from is it the Leach Kitley tree?
And it would be, no, he goes back to Western Kentucky, which is, oh my gosh, Tyson Helton. And Tyson Helton was with Leach. So it is that like Leach. I think it was Leach. That's a good question, Brad. Where does Tyson Helton?
Yeah, no, I don't know where all these guys trees are, so I'm just going to guess on a few of these.
No, no,
The trees have gotten a lot more branches over the years, so it's really hard to
yeah.
follow and find guys sometimes.
So Tyson Helton has been at Western Kentucky since 2019, and he began his career at Hawaii with head coach June Jones. So Jeff Brom, 2013 season with the Bearcats, was the OC and quarterbacks coach under Jeff Brom at Western Kentucky. So I mean, I you gotta you have to understand that Leech tree is like massive.
Mm,
Is
it
20
is.
years of uh of a system that has been branched out until I I'm not sure. I hate to say that he is from the Leech tree. It doesn't look like he ever crossed paths with Leech himself, but
Right.
I guarantee he probably worked with somebody that had branched out off of that Leech tree. But Ben Arbuckle was with Tyson Helton. He still runs the air raid system.
Yeah.
He this is where I get a little confused because like Arbuckle is the name of the game right now. He's only been coaching D1 football for 4 years and always
Hmm.
been a play caller for one, maybe two.
Okay.
And he worked under Zach Kitley, who's another air raid principal guy. I'm not sure why we are not hearing Zach Kitley more
More.
and more. Well, I mean, think about it. It's Texas Tech. How many coaches have we poached from Texas Tech? We got one on our staff right now with
A
Emmett.
lot. Yeah.
Like a lot. Like a lot of coaches have branched out of Red Raiders, and we pluck from. We take their quarterbacks and make them Heisman Trophy winners. So
Yeah.
I don't know why he hasn't gotten a lot of buzz. That doesn't make much sense to me. But Arbuckle, air raid guy, young guy. I don't really, Washington State. They're 15th in the league, 15th in the or sorry, 15th in the conference right now in offensive yards per play. Now,
Nationally,
those
right?
off nationally, yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
nationally 15th in the country offensive yards per play, but two of those games, San Jose State and Portland State, was 27% of their yards. So, uh, two two games out of 10 for almost 30% of your production, and their schedule is awful to see him jump to the toughest conference in the league and then have to turn around toughest conference in the country, the SEC, and turn around an offense that is a mess
Yeah.
and a quarterback development, and he doesn't have I mean, Arnold's most like. I mean, I don't know where he's going to end up. I hope he comes back. I want them both back. Probably not going to get both back.
Yeah.
To have him, is he enough to get a transfer quarterback, Brad?
Well, I think there's a really good quarterback that plays for him that supposedly he would bring with him. I forget his
Okay.
name. Gosh darn it, starts with an M. Um,
Mater is Mater,
yeah,
Mater.
I want to
Okay.
say I
Yeah.
want to say
Yeah,
Mater.
that's right. Yeah.
I say Mater.
I know.
Every time I see it, I'm like, hey, it's Mater. We're bringing in Mater from Cars. Um,
Yeah, but that is a huge, huge jump in play, man.
yeah, it is.
Like massive. That's a massive jump, man. That is a massive, massive jump. I don't know. That anyway. So Ben Arbuckle,
Yeah,
Washington State OC.
yeah.
Let's go to the next
Uh,
one.
yeah, there's several down here. I'm not going to know everyone's history. Brennan Marion's running the, I guess they call it the go-go offense.
Yeah, go
I guess,
offense.
yeah,
You got the two backs on the same side, like and it's um it's a near and far shotgun offense, and when you got two backs and you have them with split in 2x2 twins on the same side, it gives that quad look, right? The defense overloaded on one side in an instant. And watching some of it's pretty cool. Like it's not a gimmick. It works. Like I don't, people are saying it's gimmicky and everything. It's a system that Marion has been developing slowly. The knock on him is he never stays in one spot for very long. He jumps. I mean, it's 1 year done, 1 year done, 1 year done. I'm not quite sure. I mean, we've got some coaching friends. Our coaching friends say, maturity is not quite there. He's not quite there yet with his system. Like he doesn't have a lot of answers to some things that he will figure out.
Hmm.
But UNLV is doing great. So they're 20th in the country right now in offensive yards per play. It's 6.5 yards. And I think so. I don't, man,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't
They
even know.
they move around so much.
Yeah, yeah,
But that would be another big jump. I mean, that's a
sure.
huge jump for a young guy. Huge
Eh,
jump.
yeah, and there's I don't know, probably 6 of these names in these 11 we have listed here. That would be a big jump, from where they come from. They just don't have a lot of experience, whether it's SEC, Big Ten, you
Yeah.
know, just P4 football.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so he would definitely bring his kind of own offense. He's not really there's a couple of there's the Bryles trees, there's the Leach trees, there's maybe a couple other out there. So
Meyer and
his
Dunmullen tree.
yeah.
Yeah.
So his would just kind of fall, I guess, outside of that, those main
Yes.
those main
Yes.
trees, so to
No,
speak.
no, there hasn't been a head coach to take over a program with the go-go
Hmm.
system and have success yet. He is trying. What I would say is he is um, a guy who's trying to crack into creating his own tree. Like Brennan needs to get himself at what Bryles did and go to Houston and start running that system. Like Bryles was running that system at Stevensville when he was a head coach at high school. Brennan needs to crack into becoming a head coach somewhere and have that system be successful and then move up from there. And like I said, he's a young guy. Like he's got plenty of time. Like I don't even think he's 30 yet. Like how old is the guy?
If he is, he's around 30. Yeah.
Oh, he's 37. My bad.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm probably thinking of something else. Some other guy we have on this list. I know there's like you go down the list. Mac Leftwich, he's very young. I want to say he's barely 30.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
probably the youngest one on this list. If I'm just picking the young guy, but next guy on the list there, Willie Corn out of Liberty. I know they've had some success there the last few years. I don't know what system he runs, and I'm
He's under Jamie Chadwell, and they run the what I mean, I don't know if there's an actual like a name for it. I just call it the triple option spread because it's a lot of motion, quarterback run game, and
mhm.
then attachments off of it. A lot of flood concepts to one side, make read a defensive end, give, don't give. You got a flooded field side or a flooded boundary side with three options. I mean, it's super simple, and I like it. As far, but like, Willie Corn. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't like these options. I really don't. I don't like these options, man.
I know. He's got a little bit
I
of a
like it.
Clemson. He's got Clemson background, so he's played in
Yeah. Okay.
a big league. So that's one of the things. And I'm just going off memory. I don't have these guys pulled up or anything, but yeah, Joe Craddock, next guy on the list, Tulane OC. We saw him in Norman this week or this year.
Yeah,
Uh,
and he's got a quarterback that will transfer with you, right? Minsa,
right.
if he's got a year, he's coming.
Hmm.
Besides that, I don't really know. I mean, when I watched that Tulane game, I, I don't know. It just looked like your typical pro style spread that Latrell ran. Like there
Right.
wasn't anyway.
Yeah.
Who's the next one?
Yeah,
Oh,
They beat Army or Navy yesterday, like 35-0. So they had a good showing yesterday against one of the
mhm.
cadet schools or the military schools. Yeah, Buster Faulkner. That's a name that popped up this week on TFB that Charlie mentioned. The Georgia
Mm.
Tech OC. I like their physicality that they run there, but that may have nothing to do with offensive coordinator, and that just comes from the head coach potentially. But they did a good job last week, taking care of Miami, and I just
Yeah.
liked the physicality they played with. But again, that's a characteristic, not necessarily an
They they
offensive
they play
system.
yeah. Yeah, they played against who in Ireland? Who did they play against?
Opening that was opening weekend.
Was that Notre Dame?
Florida State.
Florida State. Okay, Florida State.
Yep.
I watched that one. That was before we knew Florida State was terrible. But you're right. It is a very physical team. Like that
Hmm.
offensive line is wanting to hurt you. They don't want to just move you. They want to hurt you. I love
Yeah,
that attitude.
I do
But
too.
besides that,
Eh,
I don't know anything about that scheme at all. I haven't
Right,
watched much
right.
Georgia Tech, so I can't tell you.
Yeah, that's fine. We can move on to Jake Spavital, a name that we were pretty familiar with in the Big 12. Just again, these are names mentioned. The likelihood of a lot of these guys are slim to none, but just on our list here.
Jake was the OC with Kyler Murray and Kyle Allen, right? And he
At
was the one
Texas
that rubbed them
A&M.
the wrong. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So he rubbed his quarterbacks the wrong way, and they both left him.
Yeah, it's not good to
So
have on your resume, is it?
yeah, no. So pass on that guy. That ain't happening.
Yeah, yeah,
Scratch him. I don't know. I saw some people on X talking about that, and I'm like, no, 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 no.
yeah.
Anyway,
Next guy on here, a name
yeah,
a name you and I threw out
I
about a
like
month
this
ago
guy.
or something. Mac Leftwich, young up and comer down at Texas State, down there with GJ Kinney,
Yeah,
having some good success. I know you like their scheme.
I do.
He was just a guy I googled one Sunday on up and
Yeah,
coming
you did.
OC, and I was like,
You did.
huh, this guy looks interesting, and started
Yeah,
digging in a little bit, and then you kind of liked him a little bit, and
yeah. I watched two games, two full games, and maybe highlights on a couple others. I liked what he did. He had a really fast receiver, and I don't know who. I can't remember the name. I think he was a white guy. I mean, he was just a white fast receiver, and they destroyed somebody with cheat motions, which I don't. I'm watching OU day in and day out. Okay, like week in week out, I'm watching OU, and he was using cheat motions, which I didn't see OU or their opponents run at all. And that's something you see from Miami, Mike McDaniel.
mhm.
Just a short motion, but it's like arena football where it's a short motion. You get a guy who is running full speed, getting him momentum and getting him upfield. And what he would do is he put him at the wide receiver one, bring him down, motion him, get him some speed, change him from wide receiver 1 to 3. Now he's got momentum, and usually that receiver 3 needs help for the safety from a backer, and the backer couldn't touch him because he was full speed momentum. Backer couldn't get his hands on him, couldn't redirect him, and he was gone. And they would hit him over the middle, hit him on a wide, like a crossing route, and that safety, they would try to, okay, hey man, we can't need, we don't want you at the hash. We're gonna have to move you after post snap. We're gonna have to get you flowing to the post to close that post because that cheat motion is eating us alive. Then he would use receiver 1 and 2 to go over the top on you. It was really cool. Like I was like, man, that is like some that stuff. I mean, that's what Miami does. I mean, Miami has
Mhm.
Tyreek Hill and JJ Waddle. Yes, they're super uber players, but schematically, that's what Mike McDaniel does. And that's
Mhm.
why I was like, oh, I like this Mike attack stuff. I mean, it was really cool. So anyway,
Yeah, and if you can, put pressure on the defense, that's what it's all about, right? Just kind of putting
yep.
pressure on them, making sure that
He's
they have.
he has a fast receiver and he's finding ways to use them to his advantage. OU's got lots of fast
Yep.
receivers. We went in the summer, we had a
Hmm.
whole list of fast receivers.
Yep.
Today, we ain't using none of that shit. Like, we don't get any receiver screens. We get tight end screens. That's what we got.
Right.
That crap goes out the window with Mac. Mac Attack ain't doing that, man. So
Yeah.
he will
Oh, I
take
want.
these fast receivers and do something. He will do something with Reagan's or Petaway or any of them. Kearney.
Yep.
So
If I remember right, he's got history with Incarnate Word, which Cam Ward actually started there. So
yeah,
he worked with Cam Ward a little bit when he was down in I think that's in San Antonio.
yep.
Uh, um, let's see. Next guy on the list here, Mike Shanahan, just kind of a name we probably wouldn't have thought of at the beginning of the season, but Indiana is just tearing it up. They have one loss, or
I have no idea.
did they get one loss? Or are they still undefeated? I can't
Let's
remember.
take a look.
But head coach just signed another big contract yesterday with them. Like was it 5 or 8 year? It was some crazy, I think, long term contract. Their head coach
Wow.
there, yeah. What's his name? Signetti. I forget his first name.
Signetti. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then so Shanahan's been part of that, production that Indiana's had this year. Yeah, they're probably, I don't know. I'm guessing they're fifth, top 5 or 10 in the country.
Let's take
Offensively
a
is
look.
my guess. I looked at those stats a week or two ago, and I can't remember, but they're up there.
Yeah, they're ninth in the country right now in offensive yards per play.
Yeah, they've been rolling, tearing it up.
Looking at this name and the 3 names, or at least this name and the next name,
Mhm.
I can't say that. Andy Koltelnicki?
Yeah, Colton Nicky,
Koltelnicki? You know,
Colton Nicky. We'll go with that. Andy.
Andy. Okay, so Mike Shanahan and Andy of
Yep.
Penn State, like these two are most likely safe. Meaning, I mean, do they risk coming to OU to be? They're already OCs, and Signetti just got a big deal. Penn State's got money.
Mm-hmm.
Do they risk coming to Brent on a possible one and done?
Right.
Because if they don't find success, are we gonna roll with Brent a whole another year? I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. It's one of those. It's one of those weird things that if we could look into our crystal ball and know OU is going to be improved next year, then bring in OC. He's not, Brent's not out of there, kind of
yeah.
thing. So it's a weird. Which one of these guys, could you bring in if OU doesn't have success next year? Could they elevate into head coaching jobs? Some of these guys, maybe, but there's a lot of no's on this list. I'm like, I don't know if they're head coach material just yet.
Oh, not on this list, no.
Yeah, no, maybe 2 or 3 of the 11 even fit that bill.
Right.
Um, but yeah, so those are 2 up and comers. Penn State's done pretty good this year. I know Ohio State held them to like 10 or 13 points or something like that. Then last name on here, the Pitt OC, Cade Bell. I know Pitt's had a good offense the last, I don't know, seems like 4 or 5 years. They've rolled out some really good offenses there. But
Mhm.
so that's kind of our list. And you already mentioned Kitley earlier to name on there. And who was the other guy? Pipe dream kind of thing.
Oh,
Oh, Charlie
oh,
Weiss.
Kitley and
Charlie
Charlie
Weiss
Weiss
Jr.
Jr. Even
Yep.
though,
Yeah.
I mean, that's like you said, like that's not. I mean, we could throw a name on the list, but
Yeah. Yeah.
no, that's not gonna happen.
So
Kitley makes so much sense in the world to me. I
yeah.
mean, if you want to go air raid, the
Hmm.
system that Bob,
Hmm.
brought in and won a championship with, your one championship
Yeah.
in 25 years, and Red Raiders, we poached from those guys all the time. I don't know why he isn't getting as much love as Arbuckle. I don't know why you go and give a couple million to Arbuckle to be your OC when unless Kitley just said no. And if Kitley said no, whoa,
Yeah.
that's if Kitley said no to you,
Alarms. Yeah.
that is like that's not the position you want. Like I would go to Kitley first to tell me no, then I ask why. And he'd be like, "Well, I don't want to do a one and done." I'd be like, "Oh, this is a much more serious problem than I thought it was." But
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense to go to Arbuckle like right off the bat at all. Like it should be Kitley,
Hmm.
and then I understand Dan Mullen. We all know why Dan Mullen would take his ESPN contract is expiring.
Right.
He wants to keep his same lifestyle, so he's looking for that 2.5, $3 million job, right? And you need somebody that is, the former head coach experience, because our current head coach, Brent, doesn't want to do anything with the offense. It's
Right.
clear. It's clear he does not want to do anything. He wants to focus on defense and not anything offense.
Eh,
So maybe
we're-
that would be a
yeah.
match where you
Yep.
would bring in a former head coach
Yep.
with quarterback development history and be like,
Right.
but Brad, what do you see? Do you see those two coexisting? Dan and Brent? That seemed,
It,
I mean,
it depends. I mean, I just see anytime you bring in a former head coach, you know, I just see a little bit of conflict's not the right word, but I just see a little bit of issues there between Brent and a guy because the guy may have some ideas on, you know, the football team overall that they should do this and do that, right? And
right.
that's not what Brent doesn't want someone to come in and
That's
be
where you get
questioning his decisions or
that.
whatever.
That's all.
So
That
that's
would
where it
all be
feels
in
very,
writing, right? You
yeah,
have to put that in writing. We're like, hey, Dan, you don't
yeah.
say nothing on my team.
You
This is
stay in
all.
your lane. Stay
Yes,
in your
they
lane.
will put that in writing. Like,
Yeah.
this is stay in your lane.
Yeah. I Brent is like, I own the highway. You get this lane, but the highway is mine.
Right.
And you just
I
have to,
cannot imagine a scenario where if Dan Mullen is struggling and if Brent wants to say something
mhm.
about the offense, because if it's struggling,
Yeah,
and I do not see Dan.
receiving that well.
No,
Not at all.
no, he'll be
I'm
like, brah, like, you stay in your lane. We've got a contract that says I can do whatever the hell I want on the offense.
yeah, I can't hear Dan
And
Mullen calling Brent bruh or something like that. Bruh. Yeah, that part I can't, that part I can't hear. But honest, but all kidding aside, could it work really great? Yes.
sure,
Like it could work
if you're
really,
winning,
really, really good if you're winning and
if
there's,
you're winning,
you know, complementary football, if they're complimenting each other really well, it could be a match made in heaven, sort of, Uh,
yeah. I mean, my
but
my conspiracy theory is ESPN told Dan he is not getting renewed for a contract. That's and we're gonna get a coach that's been out of football for 3 years, who's not gonna recruit for you. If he finds success, he's just going to bolt, and we're gonna be.
yeah,
He's a one and done. If we find success, and if it's bad, it's bad. Like, whatever. But that's my conspiracy theory, is that um he's just looking for his next
right,
stop.
yeah, just a place for him to come brush up his resume a little bit, and then,
Yeah,
yeah, like you
because
said,
if OU's willing
then
to pay
then,
it, if
yep,
OU's willing to pay, he'll come because he has no other job, or
yep,
not. What I mean is, like, his contract expired. He comes in. If it fails, it's not really on him. Everyone's going to point the
mm-mm,
finger at Brent.
no,
If it's successful, he can get a little bit of credit, and then he can go become a power four coach somewhere at, like, on that, like, Florida level.
right, yep,
Uh, I'm
yeah,
just saying.
no,
I'm not
I know,
saying they
I
would
know
ever
what you're
bring him
saying,
back.
yeah,
I'm just saying, that level, that second tier, third tier, power four level, that will take a shot at him, and then, you know, for us, we just want wins, right? I don't care if Dan's a one and done. I don't care. I don't care if he's a one and done. If we win, right? If we win, that's all that matters, is we
yeah,
win, because we'll find another OC to help us win. But
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't I don't
no,
know. I don't
you're, yeah, you're right,
I
yeah,
don't I
maybe,
don't really want a guy that's been out of football for 3 years. That's just me.
yeah,
I
I'm
want
with you,
someone who's a grinder, that is leveling up. I want the leveling up guy. I want the guy that's been working his way up. Maybe not super fast like an Arbuckle, but like somebody that's coming up. And
yeah.
uh yeah, anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Dan Mullen comes here a year, and then he's the next USC coach because they're getting ready to fire that guy out there. I mean, that makes sense, right?
That's a good one.
You like
That's a
that?
good one.
That guy's not going to make it
Anything
another
that
year or two.
anything that ends with Riley falling on his face and losing that stupid
Fired.
Spanish mansion that he has, I hope it burns to the
Fired.
ground.
I want him.
He
He needs to
fired.
get fired. He deserves to
Move
get fired.
fired. Get him fired.
Yeah.
God, I hate that guy.
Yeah. So we'll let it go, and probably in about 10 years from now, eventually, right? Or never. That's fine too.
Or never. No.
All right. You want to, and so, the timing of this, you and I both feel like something's going to happen in the next 2 weeks. Within the next 2
I mean,
weeks, maybe if there's a guy that's going into the playoffs or a conference championship game, maybe it's 3 weeks down the road. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
not much longer than that, because you'll have early signing day. You got portal opening. You have all this stuff going on. That's, I know we were going to get into some of that, but we just kind of kept it to offense coordinator. But I think the fan base, you and I believe, we're going to have anywhere from 10 to 15 guys hit the portal. It's just going to happen.
Man.
You have a bad
At least.
season. That's what happens. You have a
We're
bad
gonna-
season. OC's up in the air.
Give me the one player, your top player,
Gosh,
that would hurt the most besides Arnold, because I think he's gone.
Besides Arnold.
Oh
my gosh. Let me think.
That
here.
will hurt. People will lose their mind.
Now you put me on the spot there.
I did.
Can I name like a pair of guys instead of just one?
Sure.
Or are you forcing?
Sure.
Let's say
No.
Jaden Jackson.
Oh my God.
And Peyton Bowen.
Just Peyton Bowen? There's no way Eli stays.
Jaden Jackson and the Bowen brothers. If you're going, if I can name three, that would suck.
Oh, you just suck the air out.
I was going to say Jaden Jackson and David Stone, but I didn't want to go to the same position. But that would be, let's go with that. We lose two of our best interior guys.
What are you doing, dude?
What?
No.
You said Nate. Yeah.
That was a terrible question. Jackson. I'm sorry I asked that. Good Lord.
Jaden Jackson. No. That's the name.
I love Jaden Jackson.
I do too.
He's been my favorite player all year.
That's kind of why all year, because I knew that would get you.
You bastard. Dude, no. That's not that no way. Todd Bates, no way. Yeah. Todd Bates will not let that happen. He will flip tables. He will kick doors open.
The way you phrased the question, Rob, you forced me into that. So
that would be bad.
That's your fault.
It is my fault. I don't want to ask. I'm never going to ask you another question ever again on this podcast. That Jaden Jackson is like my favorite player. and slowly Eli has and Peyton. I mean, like RSJ's been there for a few years now, but Jaden Jackson is that would not be cool, man.
I'm gonna watch
this
playback. I'm gonna watch this playback later, and you're gonna cut that out.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut all this out.
Oh,
I'm not.
All right. Let's move off offensive coordinator and shift gears and look ahead to our Alabama matchup coming this.
Yeah, let's do it
next weekend. When we looked at the schedule early in the year, we were like, man, we got two premier home games, Tennessee, Alabama. And it's still one of our biggest home games, SEC matchups this year.
I'm excited to tailgate. Yep.
But does it look different than it did 8 weeks ago? Or 10 weeks ago or whatever? Yes. Totally different. We thought we'd be rolling offensively, and this would be one of those potentially a top 10 matchup late November. Maybe. Is that fair? Is that kind of
Yeah, no, I mean,
where we're
I
at in
before this
August?
season, I thought a lot of things that
Yeah.
didn't come
Yeah.
true. So
Oof. What do you call X factors for the game?
yeah, yeah. Let's go into X factors.
So really just I only have like 2 X factors.
I'm good with that.
Offense, take care of the football, score more than 20 points, which you haven't done since like early September. Score more than 20 points. That's not asking too much, and take care of the football.
Take care of the
Okay.
ball. That would be mine. I don't know if they're scoring 20.
I'm
I mean,
I'm
I
just
hope
I'm
in
just
like
X
garbage
X
time, but
factor. If we want to have a chance to win this football game,
yeah,
you got to
yeah.
score over 20 points.
They
So
you have to. In every
yeah,
game, you have to. The offense has to be
absolutely,
in every
absolutely.
single game. The offense has to score
We
more than
shouldn't
20 points.
exactly.
Like
That
it's
shouldn't be an
football.
ask. That should be a normal given. But we're just asking, please score over 20 points for a change. Um, haven't done it since Tulane. So
Oof.
just if anybody wants to know how long it's been, yes, it's been, we haven't in the conference yet. Offensive points. Yes. Points scored. Yes. Offensive points. We have not scored more than 20 points. Sorry. I'll shut up. I've said that 3 different times now. Um, the other X factor is simple. Defensively, you have to contain Jalen Milrow.
That is
You
gonna be
have to
so hard, man.
rush defense, and the rush defense is that
Yep.
darn quarterback. Cut the head off of the snake.
Yeah.
We're going to have to leave guys on islands this week. We just are. And, Ryan Williams and the rest of that cast,
Oh man.
yes, scare the crap out of me. But we're
Yeah.
going to have
Right.
an extra guy in the box. We're going to have
Yeah.
that
No, I agree.
spy that just follows, it's Stutman, it's Lewis, or whoever, name your
Carter.
guy, McCullough,
Carter would be
Carter,
Carter would be a good
whoever.
one. Yeah.
Just you can't let Milrow run for. I don't know what he ran for. Was it 2 weeks ago? Who'd they play 2 weeks? 2 weeks ago?
I don't know.
They handled someone pretty easily. Oh, was it? It wasn't Missouri, was it?
LSU? Missouri,
LSU.
they
It
shut
was
out, and then
LSU.
they
No,
beat the
LSU.
hell out
He
of.
ran wild.
Oh,
He
you mean
ran
for
wild.
185 yards and on 12 carries and 4 touchdowns? Is that the game you're talking
Uh,
about?
yeah, that. That's what's going to keep me up Friday night thinking about that. So
Because why? Because OU's defense hasn't played a running quarterback all year,
he's the
and now
best.
they get the best quarterback that runs the
Yeah.
football.
The
Is
best
that what keeps you up?
the best running quarterback they've played all year might be Mensa from Tulane. Is that it?
I guess.
I'm
I
I'm
didn't think
trying to
Mensa
think of
ran
someone
all that
else.
well.
Maybe South Carolina's quarterback. Does he run at all? I don't know. I'm just
Yeah, Seller. There's like running quarterback, and then there's like extending the play and taking
yeah,
free yards quarterback.
which is a Nico.
Milrow, Milrow, they
He,
they will run him
yeah,
like quarterback counter, quarterback sweep,
he's
quarterback buck sweep.
he's
Whatever. I
Jalen
mean, they
Hurts
will.
2.0. Jalen Hurts
I,
2.0.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's a monster, man. Like,
He
and
is.
I'm actually genuinely surprised because I didn't know how that was gonna work
Mm-hmm.
with
DeBur.
DeBoer because
Mm-hmm.
DeBoer didn't like DeBoer didn't like he's always had pocket passers. I didn't know like how and Milrow has never really been that processing, go through progression, sit in
Right.
the pocket and throw. No, DeBoer leaned into it. He's like, "Oh, I got a running quarterback. Okay.
Yep, yep. And he had
Oh,
Penix, so we can't say he didn't have a
yeah.
quarterback that couldn't run. It just wasn't their, you
It
know,
wasn't their MO. It
yeah,
wasn't their
exactly.
identity. So Mensa for Tulane had 6 carries for -7 yards against us. So we have not played a
We haven't.
quarterback that not this and you got a running quarterback. This I fear this is a a game where
Hmm.
the defense is going to get their ass kicked. Like, they've played great for a lot of games, and we know this defense has to win games. Our offense, you just mentioned it, our offense has to score 20 just to give us a chance, and they haven't done it since September.
Mm-mm.
And the defense knows the assignment. The assignment is we need to win the football game.
All right.
And versus Missouri, with one stop, they didn't get it. We lost. That's just the responsibility of this defense. And
Yeah.
with all the leaders that we got on defense, they know that this game is on their shoulders. This is a this is a matchup nightmare because
It
you
is.
got speed on the outside, playmakers, freaking Ryan Williams, who makes people miss just for fun. I mean, the dude
True
spins.
freshman.
True Fred. Is he still 17? Like,
I don't
has a
know, but
kid had a
he's
birthday yet? I
yeah,
mean, like,
he's freak at his age, man.
and and a running quarterback and that offensive line, they're really good pass protectors. Now, there's one weakness, but this is a matchup nightmare. Running quarterback and speed on the outside. And that's a recipe for all the other defenses that Alabama will play. So,
Yeah. No, it's scary. I will say this. We haven't had we usually have one game a year that's a hang our hat on. You remember that game? Last year maybe it was Texas. We haven't had that game this year, right? Have we? Auburn?
Auburn,
That's it. Is that
our
going to
one conference
that's going to
victory. I
be
mean,
the one that we look back on this year and say, "Man,
God, I
that was
hope not.
great."
Hopefully we get, I mean,
So,
we need one victory. We need
it's
one
senior
more.
night. It's senior night, last home game. Last game for Stutzman, um, Bowman, several other guys, Dominic Williams, whatever. It's senior night, um, and a bunch of those guys on the defense. Do we have one of those crazy nights where we hold that high-powered offense, to like 16 to 20 points, and we're like, "Wow, I can't believe they did that." Picked him off a couple of
Hope
times, turned
so.
him over.
I mean, if
We
we
just
could
haven't had
hold,
that shocker of a game yet on the
yeah,
good side. We've had plenty on the
right,
bad, but
right.
we haven't had that one. They're just like, man, I had no idea that we could win that game, you know, 21-17 kind of game or whatever. Just hold them in check. And I don't
Yeah.
know if anybody's totally held them in check this year. I don't even want to look at their schedule and see, if anybody's held them under
Well, I mean,
20 points.
Tennessee held them to like 17, I think,
Is
right?
that what it was? Okay.
Yeah, this is a matchup nightmare. Here, let's dive into the stats real quick.
Okay. Okay.
All right, can you see that screen?
I can. You might blow it. Yep. There you go.
Okay. So, this is SEC receivers, and this is looking at um receivers with at least 100 routes. We missed Trey Harris, who's number 1 in yards per
We
route
did. Yeah.
run. Deontay Thornton of Tennessee is second with 4.8. He had 72 yards and that like 60-yard touchdown on Woody. And Ryan Williams, 248 routes,
Oof.
64 targets, 40 receptions, 8 touchdowns, 22 yards per reception, 4 point. I mean, 14 missed tackles. Look at this list, Brad. There's
Hmm.
not another. Yeah, this can I Dez. This is
Yeah, Eli, whatever,
yeah, this is
whoever.
Eli. I put him on Eli. Eli versus Ryan Williams. I mean
Yeah.
that's what the matchup has got to be because freshman against freshman. That's a great headline. But Ryan Williams is something special, and uh, he'll make like 4 moves before you even like have a chance to do anything.
Yeah,
Like
and
he
then
sets you up with something. So
we've named the quarterbacks. This is all about, Bowman and Bowen and those guys with some safety help too. It's not all going to be on the
right,
corners this week. So,
right. But again, Ryan Williams, 4 yards per route run,
mm,
third best in the SEC with receivers filtered with 100 routes. So, which 100 routes is not a whole lot. So that I mean that's basically I've played at least, half a season and
mhm.
he's the third best receiver in the SEC right now in efficiency of routes per yards. That's pretty good. And yeah, I mean I don't
third,
know what to say
third,
there.
third in the league for yards per reception. Is that what I'm seeing?
Let's see, yards per reception. He is a little bit further
Okay,
down.
fifth.
Let's see here.
Yeah, he's fifth.
No, he's fifth.
Yeah.
Fifth in the league.
Okay.
That's still pretty good. That's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Wow.
Let's go to I don't know. We can skip quarterbacks. We all know who. If you're looking at the SEC, big time throws, you got Garrett Newsmeyer with 18 big time throws. Not great since we've got them in 2 weeks.
What do you
Milrose
have?
actually in the middle of
What
the
do you have?
pack.
What do you have that sorted on?
This is sorted on big time throws. This is what PFF grades as like a +1 or more. So they're looking at like a scramble and a left-handed throw or something through a tight window. I mean, it's all subjective. But Newsmeyer's at 18, Milrose at 12. I mean, um, quarterback rating. Here, let me.
I feel like that list is that. Oh, okay. Never mind.
This is SEC only.
Yeah, I was just counting it. Didn't look like it had 16 guys on it, but it does.
Milrose is at 106.8 quarterback rating, which is third best in the league.
Yeah, it's a deadly combination with his running ability and then a little bit of play action and
Yep.
man, yeah,
Accuracy 76.1, which is second best in the league. I mean, we've got a big time quarterback coming to Norman next week, and uh, we'll look at some of the film, and I'll show you at least one particular area I think we're gonna be in trouble. So let's look at pass rush. We've got So who has the most wins? LT Overton, which plays, I forgot what they call it. Like it's their jack linebacker, really. I call it a jack. I think they call it something else. But he's got 32 wins on the year. R. Mason Thomas is 28. Halton 23. Ethan Downs 22. Quindarius Robinson 19. Uh, R. Mason Thomas, those edges are gonna have to have a great game
hmm
containing
yeah,
and pass rushing. That is going to be,
yeah,
I mean, if we have any chance of winning, containing Milrow and pass rushing.
yep,
Looking at run stop percentage, or this is true run stops, this is run snaps only. Danny Stutzman has almost double the stops than the next guy on Alabama. Giad Campbell's got 24 stops. Danny's got 43. The other thing interesting here is Alabama's had 31 penalties on run plays. 31. Oklahoma's at 19. I thought that
hmm,
was interesting. When you see it on film, like Alabama they're not that great against stopping the run. I mean, if there was like a weakness, it's run stopping. and their safety play. So how do you get, we were kind of mentioning our edges having a great game. What's one area that they can find some success? So the right side of the offensive line for Alabama, the right guard has given up 18% of the pressures. The right tackle's given up 13% of the pressures. Elijah Pritchett, their right tackle, has given up 21 fails. That's not great. 21 pressures, 17 hurries, and 4 sacks. Kind of go here. I hate to compare it to our offensive line because our offensive line has giving up 23 sacks on the year, which is the most in the SEC right now on true dropbacks by the offensive line. I hate that. But if there was a weakness, if it's the right side of this offensive line with Elijah Pritchett, he's pretty good in the run game. But he's if there was gonna be like a matchup, you gotta get RMT on Elijah and just go after him. Let RMT work. Let him figure out how he can build his pass rush plan, bull rush, a swim, a rip, go inside, go outside. Gotta give him time. But I'm not sure if we're gonna be in the game long enough,
Right.
to figure that out. But
no, if you have I think you said you had at least one film thing you were wanting to look at.
yeah, we can go into that.
Yep.
All right, let's do it. One area or one little about Alabama offense. Empty. Putting Milrow in empty. So this is before I think the madness. This is 0-0. This is Alabama versus Georgia. And this is first quarter. I mean, I think this is their first possession. Maybe no, I think this might be their second possession. And what they like to do is put their quarterback in empty. And when you put a quarterback in empty, it heightens his strengths. If his strength is processing and getting the ball out, well, you've got 5 wideouts to get the ball to. If his strength is running the football, then he has usually a light box to run against. And that's where they got into empty quite a few times in Georgia, and Milrow did both, which
Right.
is not the kind
That's
of
not what you
quarterback.
want to hear. Yeah.
So look at this. They have a 6-man pressure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pressure is home. Guy is unblocked. And what does Milrow do? Breaks on arm tackle and just takes off.
Yeah.
Boom. Now he's within 5 yards, and they go and punch it in and score. That's it. Touchdown.
Yeah.
So how are we going to defend? How are we going to defend Alabama when they get into empty? That is a question because they've got so much speed on the outside. Not just Ryan Williams, they got Bernard, and they've got Henderson. Fast receivers, they're pretty good. So here they're going to do a little G lead here. Quarterback, it's like quarterback power, if you want to call quarterback power. It's empty. Here's their second touchdown.
They basically run Wildcat, but Milrow just happens to be the back every time.
Yep. G lead. Play side guard pulls. Quarterback keeper. And they just take off running. And Georgia was doing the stemming stuff in the first half. They got away from that in the second half. They were stemming this. They were showing an odd close the B gaps. and then they would shift to even, or they were even, and then they would shift over. It didn't matter. They were going to run the play. They were going to run the play. This offensive line's really smart. And they run this little G lead quarterback keeper. Guard doesn't even have anybody to block. Touchdown. It's 14-0.
Way too easy.
Too easy.
Yeah.
Way too easy. They'll run some GT counter. I kept this in here because I knew I was going to talk about Elijah Pritchett being a liability in the pass game, but he's right here at right tackle, and the guard comes in, he does his business, he log blocks or takes the outside shoulder of the defensive end. This linebacker comes in, and I feel like this is a coaching point because he tries to hide behind this defensive end. He literally kind of sits behind him, and I saw this exact setup versus Houston, and Tarquin was our pulling tackle, and he completely whiffed on him. Watch 57 while he does this, again, blocking counter. He's reading the guard. He's watching his buddy here do a log block, the outside shoulder. Usually they tell the tackle, if you see a log block, I'm taking the outside shoulder, run outside. But instead, he patiently waits for that linebacker. He keeps eyes on that backer who tries to hide. So I'll play it. You see how he's kind of hiding here.
Mm-hmm.
Tarquin would run out. Tarquin's gone. Like in those early games, he's gone. He's like 10 yards upfield and doesn't even see this backer.
Yeah.
Instead, he shuffles and knows I have this guy. That's my guy. And he squares up on him, and then that's an explosive. Even though Elijah Pritchett might be not great at pass protection, and they like to pick on him, teams like to pick on him, he's pretty, I mean, for a redshirt sophomore, by the way.
Okay.
Redshirt sophomore, pretty smart guy. And here's Ryan Williams doing Ryan Williams things. I mean, so I like this play. I left this in here too because this is an option route. This is why I don't like Seth Littrell's offense, because this is a bender sit option. I am not an offensive coordinator. I've just been watching film for fun, but this is an option route. This corner stays outside and deep the whole time. I'm staying outside. I'm not letting you go outside. This is why this principle here is fear and shoot. Read the leverage of the corner. You've got an option route. Take the free yards, and Ryan Williams is going to take the free yards. He's going to watch this corner, watch him bail out. He's bailing out. I've got a post, but I also got a sit option. I'm going to sit. Whoop. Look at that. Easy. Quarterback and receiver on the same page. Catch.
5-yard gap. Yep.
We don't have that on our offense. That's modern football. We need an OC to get that to us. Let's watch it again. Watch how many moves this kid makes. This kid makes so many moves. Look, he goes left to try to get hit. He's not even looking at him. He doesn't even see him. Left. Oh, right. Oh. Let's talk more about Ryan Williams.
That's nasty. He makes a catch in this game. He makes a catch in this game. I don't know if you have it or not. It's just
I
sick.
have it.
Oh gosh. Okay.
I have it, man. So anyway, there's a post sit there. So here Georgia was playing. Alabama played a great game plan here. They were saying, hey, they're not throwing deep. They're not trying to push the ball downfield. We've got a running quarterback. We're going to nickel and dime them, and we're going to run the football. And Georgia was protecting the deep end, and they get into the second half, and they said, okay, hey, Georgia says, we're going to take the middle of the field away, and we're going to take the run cornerback away. They're not going to throw the ball deep on us if they're up 30 points. They're going to want to chew clock. But let's see here. Let's go to, here's another quarterback run play. Milrow. Again, this is quarterback run. This is like our identity is running the football. So they're just going to pull the guard, pull the center, and we're going to run like a buck sweep with the quarterback. That's it. That's all it is. Just go. Let the quarterback do something. Get 5 or 6 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And that's hard, man. As a defense, you're spread out empty.
Yeah.
You're spread out empty. You got 5 wideouts, and here they are again in empty. This is a matchup. So here we go. We got orbit wheel. We're getting orbit wheel. So they're running. Georgia's running cover 1 here. Everyone's manned up, and this linebacker is trying to fight to get to this orbit wheel by the running back, and Jail throws a great ball. That's a fantastic ball, and now it's 21-0.
Man, you're making me feel better with every play you show me. Oh goodness.
Yeah, this is it can be Alabama's offense can be the best offense we face all year. They get into the second half of this game, which is why Georgia climbed back. Georgia reckless abandonment. They see how all okay. In this first half, Georgia's defense 5 6-man pressures constantly, man coverage. They go in the second half and they flip it. So their offense was like trying to be conservative and try to methodically move down the field, wasn't working. Their defense was trying to be super aggressive with the 5 6-man pressures, and Milrow distributing the ball, quarterback run game. They completely flip it in the second half. Defense, 3 4-man pressures, drop 8, let Milrow try to find a hole, find a man open, and then run in zone. Ain't gonna work. And then in their offense goes, we're chucking the ball downfield. And they ended up hitting some plays. You want to see a jet sweep work right? Here's a jet sweep that works right.
Well, why aren't they? They should have put their slowest, or they should have put a tight end in motion and ran that instead
I
of a
know,
receiver.
right?
What are they thinking?
What are they doing?
What are they doing? Yeah.
So again, they're playing a lot of man coverage. And they put this receiver in motion. This is the man, and he is way late to the party. Yeah. There is no bump. Where's the bump? This guy's like, this 47's like, give me a bump. I need a bump. Where's my help? And he turns the corner, and there's touchdown number 4, I think.
Yeah.
Touchdown number 4? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's touchdown number 4.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Man, I can't remember all these. Okay, so I'm going to play this one right here real quick. So, again, summing up Georgia game plan, 6-man pressure and 6-man pressure. Here's a tight end. Tight end over the ball route. Easy pitch and catch. Right? Okay, let's go in the second half. This is the second half, and you see how there's like nobody around him. Oh, shoot. First half, 6-man pressure. You've got a wide open player. There's only one underneath player for Georgia. That's the second half. Or, sorry, that's the first half. You go into the second half, same exact play, 4-man pressure and a spy on the running back, running the same play. This is his exact same play, covered up. He goes for the corner. It doesn't exist. Those were the differences. So Alabama was attacking the middle of the field. Georgia was trying to send all this pressure. Alabama was pass protecting very well. Miller was able to distribute the ball. Go into the second half, Georgia says, okay, we're not going to send so much pressure. We're going to drop 8 or 7, and we're going to sit in the middle of the field, take that away. So those are just things that OU is going to have to be thinking about, right? We can't just sit back and send pressure
Sure.
all game long. They'll just pick us apart. I thought this was a cool play. This is a motion lead by the receiver. Receiver's going to come out here and kick out. It doesn't really do much, but I thought it was really cool to see wide receivers blocking. Our receivers don't do a good job blocking just as much as our tight end. Ryan Williams. Oh, man. So here's a little corner route. I'm sorry. He's over here. There's a play in here that really, really infuriated me. And we'll get to it in a
I
second.
can't believe they're playing that far off, like
Yep.
that far downfield. It's one
Oh,
thing to
this
do
is
it.
it. Yep. No. Look. So these are back to back plays. No, maybe not. They're not back to back plays. Yes, these are back to back plays. So this is again, yeah. So what? Oh, it's. I was watching back on this. I'm like, what are they doing? It's 1st and 10, 10 to go. It's third quarter. Alabama is up 15 points. And yeah, you're right. This is cover 2, like a soft cover 2.
A guy's
And they
7 yards off, 20 yards downfield, which is just
just give
bizarre.
it to them.
Yeah.
So then they come right back. This is the very next play. And this is where somebody got ripped in half for this. And number 10 right here, this linebacker. And we're going to play this back. Actually, I want you to take a look at this guy right here. 1, 2. Watch the 2 receiver and watch this linebacker. You see how he gave the linebacker collision, the number 2 receiver collision with him? Okay, go back to this play here with Ryan Williams. He's the 2 receiver and nobody collisions him.
Yeah.
10 is standing right there and doesn't touch him.
Yeah.
Gets a complete free release. Safety is this is one of the best safeties. This is Starks. Runs a 360. You never want to be a DB and have to turn around 360. If you do, that is you're done.
Yeah.
You're toast. Burnt toast.
Yeah, Jacoby
And
Johnson tried that last week, and it didn't work very good either.
man, I don't want to talk about that play. That's some coaching points. He should have knew where his help was. RSJ was in the post hole. He didn't have to even go that way. But you can't if Ryan Williams spends most of the time at wide. He's out wide. But if he's in the slot, you have to collision him. You have to. You cannot you can't allow him just to run up. You have to get your hands on him. Besides that, I mean, we kind of touched on like how Georgia kind of started to choke the middle of the field better and everything. They climbed back into this game, and I'll show you how they do quickly. But here's another, and this is the game that won the game, and everyone's seen this game or seen this play. They're down a point. It's 34-33 Alabama, 1st and 10, 2 minutes left, and what do? They just chuck it up to Ryan. They just chuck it up.
You got a young Randy Moss on your team. That's just kind of what you do, right?
Yeah. It's after
Breaks
the
a tackle
ball.
and he's gone.
It's after the catch, man. That should
Yeah.
never have happened. That's wild. Let's go
Yeah,
to Georgia, and this is going to summarize Georgia O versus Alabama. So, pressure pick by Carson Beck. Carson Beck, man, I am completely
yeah,
wrong on him. He is a rhythm quarterback. He is
yeah.
a roller coaster. What do you think about Carson Beck?
No, he's definitely he lost a couple of his weapons off of last year's team, McConkey and Bowers, and he really hasn't been the same this year. Um, Georgia's not what they were the last few years. But yeah,
Yeah,
he's just average.
he is. I mean, that was one pick. Here's another one where he just, he just. I mean, really, he's kind of like Jackson Arnold.
Yeah.
Like he just throws. I
No.
mean, like why? Why?
Yeah.
Why is he throwing this? Like he's throwing this
No,
for no
he is.
reason.
He
And
is Arnold. He just has a little more protection. That's the only difference.
no, yeah, and another year or maybe two of
Sure.
experience,
Yeah.
and that's about it. I mean, he just
Oh,
threw it.
whoa,
Like
whoa, my
why?
goodness.
Like
Yeah.
why?
Ooh.
Here's another one. Oh, that's the same one. Sorry. Here's a missed opportunity. This is backed up in the red zone. And he has this guy wide open and just threw it like 5 yards short. They're just running a post. It's cover zero. I mean, I think this is cover zero. Nope, this is cover one. And he just chucks it at the feet. So what did they do? So what Georgia did when they got into second half, they started taking free yards. Wide receiver screen. Wide receiver screen. Get some free yards. Hey, that worked. Let's run it again. Wide receiver screen. Oh, hey, that's cool. Um so after they realized that the game was pretty much gone and they had to do stuff, they attacked Alabama's free safety. So this is here you got a quad look to the boundary, overloaded. There's only one, two, three Alabama defenders. You got four receivers back there and just easy pitch and catch. Boom. But they were picking on this number 3 here, Keon Saab, and I think he's out. Here's another one. This is 4th and 6. 4th and 6. And they just kept attacking. Where's he at? Where is he at? Is that him? That looks like him. Yeah. So this is actually kind of a cool play. So this is cover 3, and you've got Georgia that makes an adjustment here. They bring this receiver inside the numbers here. He 86 looks, he moves down, moves everybody over, and now this corner went from outside leverage to inside leverage to feed help to this safety here. And they're just going to run a post, but the safety can't get there. Based on the defensive rules, Kirby or Bobo can't get there. And why he can't get there? Because this safety's freaking 15 yards off the
Yeah, he's
ball and he can't help. And why is he 15 yards off the ball? Because he kept getting beat deep.
right. Yeah,
So if
yeah,
there was any sort of area for Alabama's offense or OU's offense to
yep.
attack Alabama's defense, a safety play, unfortunately, we don't have a vertical element to our passing game at all.
Oh, we don't?
No, we don't. I mean, I know that's
Yeah.
so. Here's another one. This
Yeah,
is again.
last week our punter and our running back for the most yards per play.
Oh, sorry, he's up here. So this is a 4th and 3, and he's right here, and they're picking on him, man. Like, they were picking on this number 3 a lot. Now, I don't think we even have number 3. I think he's out, but he gets a PI here. Just basically tackled the guy. And then comes back another later. This is cover 2. He's got deep half, and he's got a skinny post and a fade to deal with, and he picks the wrong route and caught. I mean, this is why Georgia got back. I mean, they were just attacking that 3, and then they would just chuck it up. I literally called this play chuck it up. Chuck it up. 50-50 ball. Oh,
Right.
and then they go and score here. They go and score. Go to the next drive. Got a little wheel route. Now you got Dominique Jackson. They're going to go pick on the other side. Wheel route. Fade. Behind it. Hey, there he is again. Keon Saab. They picked on him big time. What do they do next? Oh, chuck it up.
Yep.
Throw it. Throw it, Beck. Another 50-50 ball. That ended up being a touchdown. And then here's the next drive, or another drive. They're going to do a little switch release. They're going to do a little fake the post, hit the corner, and there's Keon Saab again. He bites too much on the post, gets beat, and easy touchdown by Georgia. Everyone was saying, hey, they almost. I mean, Georgia came back in it. I was like, man, I've been wanting to watch this game for forever. And I mean, I don't know. Watching that game, I don't think OU can do anything with that. But
haven't been doing much already, and just not. Opportunities will be at a premium.
Yeah.
And that's all, unless we hit a couple of big downfield balls, which we haven't. There's no reason for us to think we're going to all of a sudden do that, but you just never know.
Yeah.
You can get lucky every now and then, right?
Yeah. But I agree with you. I think the only chance we have at beating Alabama is if we keep the ball safe and run the football, and defense contains a running quarterback who can throw to speedy receivers. I mean, it's good. That's a tough. I mean, it's a matchup nightmare. This is exactly what we don't want to see in week 10, right? 11?
10 or 11. Let's say 11. Sure.
Yeah.
We need the Vanderbilt blueprint to win this game.
Run the ball with your quarterback and do a lot of power football and grind out physicality, much like like we talked about before, Georgia Tech. I mean, Vanderbilt. We watched that Missouri tape.
That's
They
the
are
recipe.
physical, downhill quarterback running, jet sweep speed, not jet sweep with the tight end.
Yeah. Thompson,
Speed.
Raggins, whoever. Take your pick. Jordan's fine. Jacob Jordan's fine. I don't care.
Sure. Yes.
As long as they're, it doesn't have an 87 or a 10 on their jersey when they're running in motion, I'll be okay.
I mean, they had a bye week. Maybe John Finley comes out and he's like, okay, that was a mistake, and maybe do this, and maybe get back to the counter game, some misdirection, deception, and let's get in some speed because we need more speed. Maybe I get Arnold to, take advantage of nickel and diming and taking free yards. They're going to play man. Like, Alabama's going to play man coverage. They're not going to have respect with our receivers and everything. They're going to play man coverage. They're going to put guys in the box, and they're going to choke us alive. And what that means is that there will be lots of advantages out there for the offense to take advantage of going downfield. We just have to do it. Like, we have to prove that we can do it. Hester, where's Hester been for freaking a month?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, got to be able to protect Arnold for 3 to 4 seconds
And
on
that
any
too.
given
Oh
play.
my
You know what I
god.
mean? So yeah, appreciate everybody tuning in. Uh, Hopefully we can talk about a victory next weekend. A big shocker of a win, but maybe a win nonetheless. So thanks for
Yeah.
tuning in. We'll see you next time, and Boomer Sooner. Thanks, folks.
Thanks, guys.